Wemby is back. The 7'4" superstar has just announced that he has recovered from the blood clots in his shoulder, and with that, he will be returning sooner rather than later. Come starting next season, we will be seeing him out there on that court. And this is really exciting news because Wemby, for all the hype that he received, that was going to be near impossible to reach, to live up to. He's done a pretty good job at doing just that. He came in and was, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the rookie of the year. There was a time where that race was a little bit compelling with Chet Holmgren, but come the end of the season, it was undeniably Wemby's. He led the league in blocks. In his second season, his points per game jumped up by 3 to 24, and he was an all-star. But then, of course, we had the blood clots. And the thing that was really interesting about year two was with Wemby, with his height, of course, you expect him to be very much a post kind of player. But they were experimenting with him a little bit. They were testing out his three-pointer. He was taking a lot of threes. And I think that was intentional by San Antonio because we saw what they did with Jeremy Sohan. They played him at the point. And that's not your long-term answer at the point guard spot, but it was to help him hone his playmaking skills and his on-ball ability. And I think they were doing a similar thing with Wemby and his ability from beyond the arc. So it wasn't pretty at times, but that's not always going to be the version of Wemby that we're going to see. That was to help him develop, in my opinion. So we're going to see how that comes into play next season and get maybe a little bit more of a balance. And you talk about the hype for him coming into the league. There is a very fine line between calling a player overrated and underrated because at the end of the day, it's all based upon perception. And that can look a little bit different for everybody. There is no thorough, undeniable, 100% accurate line of reasoning to call a player overrated or underrated. Now, there are certain qualities, like perhaps a player who's turnover prone or inefficient but puts up big numbers might be called overrated. Or a really efficient guy who puts up lesser numbers might be called underrated. But it's all relative. And with Wemby, when he first came into the league, he was hyped up like crazy. There was this post I saw, I don't remember if it was from ESPN or Bleacher Report, but it was one of those big platforms, and they were calling his floor a lesser Anthony Davis. Worst case scenario, he was going to be like AD. That's a crazy amount of hype to have behind a guy, but he's lived up to that to this point. And for my money, he's one of the most exciting players to watch in the league because for his size, he plays very, very unique. They call him a unicorn for a reason. It's going to be fun to watch him out there on the court next year. Wemby is back, and I'm excited to see him in action. It's great to hear that he has recovered. And for all the hype that he's had up to this point in his career, he has lived up to it. It looks like the sky's the limit for Wemby. So even with all the attention that he might receive, I wouldn't call him overrated because he's backing it up. And I can't wait to see how he plays in year three. He was an all-star his sophomore year, and now he's going to look to build upon that momentum. He's got a great Spurs team with him, of course, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, as well as Dylan Harper now. These San Antonio Spurs, they're going to be fun to watch, regardless of how many games they win. And trust me, Wemby's going to impact that winning margin quite a bit. This is a must-watch San Antonio team. Wemby is back. He's going to look to keep rolling. And this is great news for the San Antonio Spurs.